Hello everyone, and welcome to a late night Fridays in 14. You might have already noticed that we are not hanging out with Sarah today. We are hanging out with Riku today. Riku is my low-level alt. He's my low-level alt, guys. And we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing the leveling roulette, so it's not totally different. We're still doing the duty roulette. But because Riku is lower level, we're going to get lower level dungeons. What I'd like to do is, with Riku, over the course of doing Fridays in 14, I'd like to revisit the older dungeons, just to have those on camera and you know, done. But, without further ado, we're going to get into this. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. But you know how things go. But Riku is on track to deal with Titan next, I think. I don't know. He's talking to the sylphs over there right now, and just got to Hawthorne Hut. I'm going to show you my teleport menu. This is my whole teleport menu. That's it. As you can tell from the hotbar, we are rocking Pugilist. We're going in with Pugilist. I've already got Lancer up to 16. Ready for Monk. But that will come in due time. For now, we have to level up. Or we have to do our leveling roulette. And we're probably going to level up based on this experience bar down here. But we had to wait for that. So I will come back when the thing pops up. Just let me live my life. All right. Into the deep, the breach. Actually, we can say into the deep next patch, not now. Next patch, which I'm excited about. I want to try out the new what is it? Palace of the Deep? No, that's Palace of the Dead. Sastasha. The very first dungeon you ever go into. I wonder why the cutscene is playing. I could have sworn that I turned the cutscenes off. Oh well. Woo! I'm getting some frame. There's some weird frame issues there for a second. Do I only have the one? No. I have to have... Oh, I have everything. Kind of. Alright. I don't have Fists of Earth. I have Haymaker. I do have this. Oh, because I'm synced to 18, so I just barely have it. Alright. And Snap Punch. And then Boot Shine to the True Strike. And the Snap Punch again. I should have put Touch of Death on him. actually do it like first thing at this level. I should do Touch of Death right away. It's not super strong, but you know. I'm still in a dream. Snake. Oh no, that's Twin Snakes was the remake of the first one. Oh man. Alright. So this is gonna be rather uneventful. So I'm actually probably gonna tell a little bit of a story. But first, yeah. Do I got a new? I didn't get a new stat thing, but I can accept the next quest. But first, I want to ask a question because I always ask questions because I want you guys to comment. Please comment. I like reading comments. Don't comment. Comment. It was a good time. We'll have a good time. We'll have tea and biscuits. We'll have the tea and biscuits. Right. Today's story is gonna be about D&D. So, I'm gonna ask you guys, three-part. It's kind of like a 2A and 2B part question. First part of this question is, have you ever played D&D? Alright, that's it. You ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Any edition? Any sort of like tabletop RPG, I guess? That's fantasy setting? Like similar to Dungeons and Dragons in flavor. And if so part 2A, question 2A. If so, what is your favorite class to play from any system? I mean, like, you could go as deep as to say, this is my favorite class in this system, and this system, and this system, and list out all the different systems that you like, or the different classes that you like. Or you could just pick, this is my all-time favorite from this system. It comes from this system. Or this is my all-time favorite version of this class, and it's in this system. Whatever. If you have not played D&D, and you don't know what D&D is or how it works, I suggest looking it up and giving it a shot, because it's communal storytelling with dice throwing. It's really good. But yeah. Anyway, if you've not played D&D, so if not, what class would you like to play? Or what kind of character would you like to build? So for instance, my favorite class is a little tough for me because I've played multiple versions of D&D, and in fact I could probably give you my favorite class from each version that I've played. So in 3.0, I played, my favorite class from 3.0 was a druid. My first ever D&D character was an elf druid named Althea. And she had a pet wolf. And she was super cool. And I liked playing as her. It was great. In 3.5, my favorite class is probably fighter, which is a little boring. You know, flavor-wise anyway. But, hear me out. It's because of a very particular moment that I had as a fighter. I got the cleave feat, which I think this is how it worked in 3.5. It was pretty broken in 3.5. Then in 3.5 was broken in general. But I got the cleave feat, which basically means when I kill an enemy, I can take a 5-foot step and then attack another enemy if they're within range. And I had a greatsword with a dual enchantment on it. I had a fire and lightning enchantment, so I was dealing 2d6 for the greatsword, and then 1d6 fire, 1d6 lightning. I was killing stuff very quickly. And I think at one point we entered a goblin camp or something to the effect of that. And there was a tower that we were coming out of, and there were some ramparts that the goblins were coming down on, and they were coming in single file. So what did I do? I just stepped in the doorway and started going to town with cleave. Is no one gonna flip the switch? And I think I killed, like, it had to have been at least 10. It had to have been at least 10 of them before it finally stopped. And we could all go home, and I stopped the slaughter. But yeah, it was, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. But that's why. I also played Monk in 3.5. But man Fighter felt good. So, yeah. And then 4.0. Oh, 4.0. 4.0 I probably played the most. I think I'd I don't know. There's a lot of good characters I made in 4.0 that I really like. I think I might have to go with Rogue. Though, to be fair, like, my favorite characters have been hybrids. But Rogue is the one that I made hybrids for the most. For those of you that have tracked my streaming record of D&D, you will remember that I played a character in a friend's campaign named Jaden. And he was a rogue. And boy, was he annoying. He had a lot of abilities to boost his defense. He was nigh untouchable, but he had the damage of a rogue. He was very annoying. And I loved playing as him because of his personality and his abilities. The only thing that probably would have made him stronger would be if I made him a halfling. But I didn't want to make him ridiculous, so I made him human. Other than that, very close runner-up to Invoker. Invokers can get very disgusting with AoE very quickly. And I learned this through some clever feat management and item management with Creed. He made an Invoker once, and oh jeez, it never. I mean, like he played it a little bit, and we could have gotten nuts with that Invoker, but he was an AoE Invoker, and it became a little crazy how big his AoEs were and how ridiculously strong an Invoker can get as far as crowd control goes. So yeah. And then 5th edition. I can't say I've been playing 5th edition long enough to make a choice. But I have a soft spot for Warlock in 5th edition. If only because it's super good at being very good multi-class. It melds very well into a lot of different multi-class options. A rogue warlock is probably one of the coolest options that you can make. If only because, say, you know, you chose Pact of the Blade to make a cool weapon. Let's say you make a rapier. And then you go down. You get enough levels in Rogue or Warlock, that is, to be able to cast Darkness. Well, you know, all you got to do is, well, you have to have enough levels in Warlock to cast Darkness and have Eldritch Invocations. So you take the Darkness spell. You take the Eldritch Invocation to be able to see in darkness, magical or otherwise. And then you just cast Darkness on your weapon, your Pact weapon, which means the Dark Shadow will follow you around. You're constantly in magical darkness, so no one can see you, which means you always have sneak attack. And only you can see in that darkness. Not even enemies with dark vision can see, because it's magical. It's a super good combination. It's really crazy. I just like that idea, and it's super flavorful, like a dark thief with dark magic powers that uses them to attack his enemies. Another idea that I really like is Fighter Barbarian, which works really well together. I'm currently in one campaign. I'm playing a character that's basically just Guts from Berserk, and he's a Fighter 8 Barbarian 3, and he works. Boy, does he work. But yeah, I also just really like Blood Hunter from it's a homebrew class that Matthew Mercer made up. But those, I can't really pick a favorite out of those, so it's a little tough for me to say. In any case, I talked way too long about that, but I usually do that, and I hope you guys have learned that and accepted that that is a part of who I am, that I am long-winded, and that's how things gotta be, man. The thing that I was going to talk about was that I ran my players, my local group, through Sastasha. For those of you that don't know, I have a local group that I'm running them through a 5th edition campaign that's entirely based on Final Fantasy XIV. It's changed just enough to be able to fit in with D&D lore and fit in the D&D gods, so I don't have to just say, oh no, it's these gods, and that they don't have a connection to or they're not familiar with. I wanted to make it just like, I wanted to alter things just to be good enough to fit into D&D, but it's essentially Eorzea. Well, they ran through Sastasha, and all of this here was burned. Like, they set it on fire. And I was like, I don't think I am ready for this. Players will often go off the rails and do things you don't expect. And do things that you hopefully weren't counting on. That's a little over the top. Running this dungeon was really strange because it was my first taste in getting them to go through what is normally just, you know, it's a video game dungeon. You know, you go through, you beat the enemies, you get out, and you get the reward and all that. This was interesting because they burned that down. They left the dungeon thinking that they had finished the job, And then the Commodore just sent them back to complete the job. Like, kill all the pirates. What are you doing? And then... when they did come back, they used hold... I think it works on Sahagins, because I'm pretty sure that they're humanoids. They used hold person on the main boss, which means that it was getting critted always, because it kept failing at saving throw, because of course I failed at saving throw all the time. And the paladin just killed it. Got the last hit on him and just cut his head off. And I was like, man, you guys completely wrecked this dungeon. I didn't expect you to just destroy it. And they did, and they found a lot of gold, because it's a pirate cove, so of course these guys are going to have a lot of gold and treasure, which was a mistake on my part, because I gave them too much gold. But they bought a house, so it was a harmless money sink that went totally right, and it worked out. But the moral of the story is twofold. First off, it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience that, even though I've been pretty relaxed and chill and flexible with my 5th edition campaign for Final Fantasy XIV. Been pretty relaxed and chill about it, you know? I've been open-minded and letting them do stuff. That wasn't enough. I need to be more open-minded. I need to be so open-minded that I almost have no plans for a dungeon, other than what enemies could potentially be there. I need to really, like, don't have any sort of scripting, just let it happen naturally. Just sort of think of the layout of the dungeon, and then sort of think of what enemies might exist in it, and then go from there. Okay. The second one. Don't let your characters... Well, here's the thing. Don't... I don't want to say don't, because as a DM you should always say yes to your players, or you can try. You can try to do this. However, this doesn't apply to character creation. Alright? Just hear me out. I have normally about a 4 to 5 player party. Their names, the names of the characters are Kale, Riverwalk, Garrow, Dion, Dom, Charles. Usually Charles is there. One character decided to make a Goliath barbarian named Chocolate. Don't let your player do that. Especially when you're like, alright, Dom, your turn. Alright, Dion, you go. Chocolate, your turn. Just for the love of God, just say no. Just when it's you know, that guy, you know, when your player is being that guy and just clearly making a nonsensical name that is totally jarring and contradicts the seriousness or the in-world names of the other players, just say no. Don't let them do that. That's annoying, and they're being that guy. Let's go. Let's beat up this boss. And stop getting weird frame drops. It's really weird. I probably need to reset my computer. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm clearly not recording this at a smooth 60 frames. And I think we're just gonna burn him. Or not. No, I think we are. How much health does he have left? I actually... Done. That's that. I didn't even really talk about the dungeon, but only because... Who cares? What is this? What is this? What was that? Oh, was that my... Was that my stance? Yeah, that's my stance. And that's that. Oh man, I got 3 players. They must have been in a party. They must have been a preformed party. So there's like, oh man, I got 3 commendations. So yeah. That was my story, and I spent pretty much the whole time answering a question that I asked. Cool! Commentary. Talking. Things. Chocobo Keep. Hi. Nothing. Goodbye, you crazy bird man. So that's that for this week's Friday and 14. I hope you guys don't mind the late upload time, which, by the way, you can't tell when I'm recording this, because that's Eorzean time, not local time. Ha ha. Anyway. I'll see you guys next week for more Fridays in 14. Maybe it'll be Riku, maybe it'll be Sarah, maybe something different. I don't know. I'll think about it and we'll see. So until then, later, adventurers.